guys, welcome back to another video. It is currently the first week of January still when I'm recording this, and I wanted to talk a bit about my productivity system, but more importantly I wanted to share with you guys how I've actually created my digital planner for 2023. I've mentioned before I want to share a bit more about what my productivity system is and the things that have helped me kind of stay on track. I'm honestly not the most organized person, if I'm being honest. I'm not a very aesthetic person either, so this has been what has worked best for me out of the things that I've tried. I've dabbled in Notion, I've tried other apps and websites out there, and honestly I think they can be really great tools, but I find just a planner, the good old-fashioned planner, has worked the best. And I do have a paper planner. I've tried to migrate over to a digital planner, which I have on my tablet. It's been, I think, a lot convenient-er, if that's a word. I also find it easier to like edit a digital planner because if you ever make mistakes with a pen and you want to change it, it's not really possible. So those are a few of the things that I like. I started using a digital planner last year. What I first used were templates that people already created, and I think they can be great. You can actually find some free ones. You can find some on Etsy that you can purchase. I did purchase one last year and it was from Flourish Planner. She's also on YouTube and she has some really informative videos and like very aesthetic videos on how she does her digital planning. So I'll actually link her below so you guys can check her out, because I learned a lot of the stuff that I've done with my digital planning through her. I just felt like after using it that there were certain things I wanted to tweak based off of what I found more important and things that were more useful to me. So with that said, this is my digital planner that I've made for 2023. It's not crazy intense or like very detailed. My style for productivity is honestly simple. I don't really need a million different things to keep track of. So I'm gonna walk you through exactly how I did it, and then after we'll go through and I'll actually start planning out. Put links to all the resources below. If you guys do want to download the one that I've made, then let me know and I can definitely share it with you guys as well. Okay, so let's first talk about the things that you'll need in order to start your digital planning. You'll first need a tablet of some sort. It can be any type of tablet as long as it can support the apps that we'll talk about in a second. You will also want a pen that you can use, or a stylus that you can use for your tablet. I know iPad doesn't come with it, so you'll need to get one, and it does make a really big difference for writing. I don't think I could do this if I was just using my finger. So those are the two foundational things that you'll need. The next is you'll need a couple apps. First, actually use as your digital planner is called GoodNotes. GoodNotes is basically like a digital notebook type of app. This is where you'll be able to house your digital planner, and you'll be able to use the functions within GoodNotes to be able to use your digital planner, if that makes sense. You do have to purchase GoodNotes. It's a one-time purchase though. The last thing that you'll need, and this is the part in order to actually create your digital planner, is a Canva account. I feel like a lot of people know this is basically a free resource for you to create graphics, create images. People use this to create YouTube thumbnails or business cards. There's a bunch of different templates and there's a bunch of different resources within Canva, but you do need an account to create it. You can get the Pro account, which unlocks more assets that you can use on the site. I do not have a Pro account, so this part is actually completely free. Okay, so let's get started on making your own digital planner. First, let me just like explain a bit about what we're making. We're making a PDF because that's what's gonna become the file that you use as your digital planner. And in order to do that, like I said, we're gonna use Canva. Canva has a lot of great templates already, and I'm honestly gonna lean a lot on the templates that exist, but make some modifications. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. Once you have your Canva account set up, and like I said, I have the free version. Let me just show you quickly the one that I made already. This is like an overview. I didn't title the pages or anything, but this is all the pages, and I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm gonna show you guys exactly the steps that I did in order to make this, and then how we'll actually use it. On the homepage, all you need to do is go to templates, planners, and you have a wide variety of things that you can start using. So I'm gonna show you the exact ones, hopefully, which I use, but on this page, like, there's so many different options. You will see the ones that have the crown is basically the ones that are for pro users, which you'd have to pay for the subscription in order to use, but the one that I had was this one. Let's start with that, and this is what I used as the cover page. I really liked the layout of this, so I don't want to pay for the picture, but I do like the rest of it, so we are going to delete that. What's also convenient is that you can find assets on Canva to use, such as like different pictures and stuff. So for my cover page, I'm honestly not a very aesthetic person, so you're not going to catch me looking for pictures for hours, but there's two places that I looked for my images really quickly. First is the actual resource on Canva, which is what shows you the pictures that are free and you can literally just use them on your planner. The other resource that I would recommend is Unsplash. Unsplash is basically royalty-free, copyright-free photos. So if I was looking for something like nature, you can find pictures on Unsplash and super easy. I really like abstract pictures on my cover photos. Maybe I'll just do like abstract painting and see what comes up. This one's kind of cute. I just copy these images, I don't save them, but I just go back into here and then I can just paste this, drag the size to fill the screen. I'm gonna send it to the back so it becomes the background. And then the other thing that I just want to share, because I don't like my backgrounds to be like fully visible, I like to drag the transparency down a bit. So we're just gonna make it down to like 35%, and that's my cover photo. Super easy. So that's the first page. So the second page that I have is this year in a glance, and I like this because it's basically just to show all the months. So I've created a new page. You just click add page, and then in order to add more pages into this, all you need to do is go to design, and then when you're on templates, it should show you already some templates that you can use. So all you need to do is look for the type of template that you're looking for. I'm gonna look for a yearly planner for this page, which is what I used on the other one that I just made. And this was actually the template that I had used. This is what it looked like originally. I just made some changes to it because I wanted it to match the theme that I had going on. But you'll see that there's like a picture here that is actually not free. So I'm gonna delete that, but you can always add other pictures that you want. If I wanted to add a flower graphic, you can look around and you just have to check which ones are actually free. There's a lot of stuff that is paid. Here, there are some free ones here. So if I wanted to use this one, I could use that there. I can make it, oh, I don't want to make it white. I could lower the transparency, maybe like 20%, and then I'm gonna send it backward so that it's not covering the things. I think that looks really silly. Here, maybe up here. You just kind of play around with it. It's so easy to edit things. So let's say this is the one that I want to create. It's super similar to the one that I had, but I wanted a cleaner, simpler aesthetic. So that's what I ended up with, but this is the exact same format. I ended up creating divider pages for each month. I actually just used the existing template from our title page, and then I changed it so the pictures are different for each month, and then I changed the writing to say each month. So all that you do if you want to use an existing template, you click this button which says duplicate page, and then it'll create the exact page for you. And then I've just moved it down so that it becomes the next page. I'm going to just write January and then reduce the size. I've removed the one that says planner. So that's all that I did. Basically, like, I would resize it and just make it a bit cleaner so the fonts are lined up in the right size, but that's all that I did. And then I want to add another picture. You can also look for the pictures on here. If I wanted to use this one, oh, I can't because it is not free. Okay, we won't use that picture. Okay, let's say I wanted to use this crumpled paper and I just want to bring the transparency down. Then that could be a cover photo. And then I just basically did this for every single month so that I have a different vibe for every month. The next thing after that I have, just to show you guys if you want to include a monthly view, there's a bunch of templates that you can include. I'll show you exactly the one that I used. I would just go back to the design section and I would look up monthly planner. The one that I used is this one, and it actually has all the months already, and you just have to make sure that it's for 2023. So I'm gonna go down to a new page and I'm gonna click the month and it just populates for you. A few things that I like to do is just to change the font so it matches. Because I'm pulling from different templates, the fonts aren't gonna match. There might be a way to make this easier, but I just changed the fonts manually so that it looks the way that I want it to. If you want to change the color of the background, you can. I'm going to change all of these to be a different font as well. Glacial Indifference. Okay, that's the font that I like. That is the month, and the dates are already there. If you want to make it more aesthetic, I can add little elements like the flowers there, and there you go. So that is a month. I don't really use this view in my planner most times because I like to use my Google Calendar, so I don't really use my planner for that. But if you do want that, there's a lot of different options. So that's exactly what I use. Changed mine so that it doesn't have a background color. The next thing I have in mine is a habit tracker. The habit tracker for me is one of my favorite things because I'm basically on the Atomic Habits bandwagon like everyone else. I read the book last year, and since then I've really tried to hold myself accountable for like daily habits and daily things that I can do. So all I'm gonna do is add another page and go back to design. It's very repetitive. I think it's kind of fun. So I'm gonna look up habit tracker, and the first one that I found here is actually the one that I ended up using. I'm just gonna get rid of these. I don't really like whatever these dots are. So I've changed the colors of it to kind of match the theme that I have going on. You can also add something that'll say what month it is. So if you want to make it just like what I had, I just added some text and it says month. I'm gonna add a shape so that I can make the line that I can write in which month is which. There, okay. And then I'm gonna change this to be 1, and there you go. So that's my habit tracker page, and I'm just gonna be able to use this every month, write what month it is, and then write the habit that I have. The next one is a weekly planner that I have. I like weekly planners, so like I have a full view of each day that's coming up. If I'm going to an appointment on Thursday, or if there's a bill that's due on a certain day, I usually use this. And then I also have goals that I like to include as a weekly goal. Again, really easy. I'm just gonna add another page, go to design, and I'm looking for a weekly planner. Obviously you can use whichever ones you think are most relevant and helpful. So I use this one. I'm gonna change the font to match the vibe of the rest of my planner. And then I wanted to add more buckets so that it's not just one big bucket of goals. I'm gonna put personal goals. Let's say I want to include 5 personal goals. I can get rid of these, and then I'm gonna make my next section. I'm just gonna get rid of these ones. So I can just copy the elements and then I can paste it so that I can make another section, and this is going to be my content goals. My last section, just for this demonstration, I'm going to put my work goals. And that's basically the main things that I did for the structure of it. I just changed the top so it's not like a big block, and then I have another section for reminders and notes, but that's the gist of it. And then if you want to also add something to tell you which week it is, I can copy from the previous page, and then instead I'll just have the week. So that's the weekly planner view. You can continue to tweak it and stuff. Like if you want to add another flower, I guess this one is very flower themed, I can do that. The next is the daily planner. The daily planner for me is what I think keeps me on track the best, because I can actually see the hourly schedule, which I like to do this the night before so that I feel like the next day I have something to look back at. So I am gonna create another page and show you how I made this. So let's create another page. Go to design. I'm in all caps, daily planner. There's a lot of different templates already. This one says productivity planner. I changed the name of it to say daily planner. The next thing is there is a section for wake up time and today's mantra. I just made it all as one thing to say today's mantra. That was more important to me. And then the other section is your schedule. What I think is more helpful is to change the actual times. So I want my day to start before 8 o'clock, and then I also want to have it all the way till 11. So I'm gonna need to add another line. What I ended up doing in the bottom is I didn't really find the daily reflection something that I would use. I do journals, so I reflect in my journal, but I don't really want to leave that in my daily planner. So I'm going to take this part out. The memo I'm going to move over so that I have space to actually add more times in. Just for the sake of demonstration, I'm not going to change all the numbers because I actually don't like 24-hour time. Trips me up. I know, I feel like everyone should know how to read it. This is not intuitive to me. So I ended up changing it for my own. I changed it to actually say like 7 a.m., 8 a.m. So I'm just gonna drag this down a bit, and then I'm gonna copy one of these, make sure it's balanced. I like that there's little guides to tell you the spacing is equal and that looks right. And then I'm gonna change this to say 7. So now my day starts at 7 and it goes all the way to 11. It's exactly what I need it for. And the rest of it, I like to have my top priorities. I like my to-do list. I don't really change that. If I was to use this, I would probably fill up the space so that I have a larger section for my memos. So that's the daily planner page. This is basically the same things that I did on mine, but I just made a couple more tweaks to the layout. And that is all the pages in my planner. The next thing is you'll want to have dividers for each of your pages, and there's going to be the different months. So I'm going to actually go into my real one and show you guys how you would be able to populate each month so that it has the right pages that you need in it. So I'm going to go into each of these. I'm going to copy all the pages that I have, and then I'm going to click onto the page, like the month that I'm adding the pages to. So I'll click on February, and then in between I will paste, and then it'll give me all the pages. I'm going to do that for each of them so it's all populated, and then I'm going to just have to change the month because these all say January right now. So I'm going to go in and change every single month to look like this, but after that I should have a full year's planner, and then I can move on to the next step. So I'll show you guys how to actually use this, but I just want to say these are just the pages that I think are most relevant and most useful. If you actually wanted to add even more stuff, if you guys are really tracking your finances and you like to use this as a system to do that, then you can probably look for a finance tracker as an example. There's a lot of different pages, and you can just do the same thing and edit it to what you need it to be. There's so many resources on here that I think would be really helpful, and you can customize it to exactly what you want it to be, which is again what I really like about this. I finished adding the rest of the months so that I have the monthly view updated in the style that I wanted it in, and now I'm just gonna save it. So I wanted to also share with you guys how to save it once you're finished. So you're gonna go to the share button on Canva, and it'll have the download option. There's a few different formats that you can save it as. I'm gonna save it as PDF standard. Like I said, that is basically what we want this to be in order for us to use it on GoodNotes, and it's gonna download all my pages. It's taking a while because it's a huge file now. I'm gonna save this in my iCloud so that I can access it directly from my tablet. Now that you've got your PDF saved, you're gonna move on to your tablet, and you're gonna get GoodNotes open. So if you don't have GoodNotes yet, please download it so that you can follow along. And there are other apps that kind of do similar things if you want to use that instead, but this is based off of GoodNotes. We're gonna start with importing our document. Basically, you're gonna use the PDF that we just made, which will become your 2023 planner. So I'm gonna open the file that we just made together. Once it's uploaded, you're gonna see the PDF, and you can toggle between the view and see all the pages that are there. One thing I wanted to mention is, if you noticed, I only made the pages as like singular pages in each month, but some of them you're gonna need more than one of, like weekly planner, daily planner. There's gonna be more than 1 week and 1 day in each of the months. So all you need to do is duplicate the page, and you'll be able to use it as many times as you need. So I'm gonna use my stylus. You're gonna go to the page that you want to duplicate. There's gonna be an arrow, and all you need to do is click duplicate, and there it is. And then if you want to move the pages, you can also just tap onto it and drag to where you want it. Honestly, these are the type of things that I love about digital planning, because you can't really customize and stuff if you were using a regular paper planner. Once you're into the planner, I'm gonna go through the pages and we're gonna do some quick things together. I do want to note that there's a lot of more in-depth tutorials on how to use GoodNotes, how to get started on the technical things about this. I'm just going over really simple, high level how I do things because this is all that I know. But just to show you guys how I would actually use the planner, the first section is 2023, a year in a glance. So I would put the things that I have planned in each month. I don't really go into detail, but just like key events. So for example, in February, we have a trip to Mexico. And another thing is I actually like to use the tool in the top left, which basically zooms in so that I can write a lot easier, because my writing is not really neat, and I think it's just easier to have it really big. Put a little sun there. That's really ugly. And then another thing that I like is you can also trace around it, and then you can like shift it around if you want. And I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. That is super ugly, but whatever, we're gonna go with it. So that's the Mexico trip. And then I also like to do some highlighting just to give it some color. This is about as much as I do to make it somewhat aesthetically pleasing. And then another thing, in March, my birthday, my 26th birthday. Yes, I'm turning 26 in March, which is crazy, kind of scary to be honest. But that's basically what I'm gonna do for the rest of the year on this page. In each of the months, as you guys know, we had the calendar view for the full month ahead. I am gonna skip this for now because I don't really use this that much. I honestly kind of made this to give you guys an idea of what you can do, but I'm not gonna fill this out for now. The next one is definitely one of my favorites. Like I said, the habit tracker. So this is what I like to put the types of things that I want to track on a daily basis on, and I find it really helpful to have it here so I can just check off each day. What I would do is write in the habit. For example, I want to reach 8,000 steps each day. Another one, for example, is I want to read at least 10 minutes each day, and then I'm just going to write in that this is for January. Another thing I didn't mention is that there are a few different pen types on GoodNotes. So I like to use the ball pen the most because it looks the cleanest for me, but if you want to try, there's fountain pen and brush pen as well. And then once I completed one of the days, I would just probably highlight it to show that I've completed it for the day, just as an example. And then at the end of the month, I think it's really interesting that you can just like look back and see exactly what you did. Sometimes we think that we were more consistent than we actually were, so that's one of my favorite things about this page. The next is weekly planner. So this is more of like an overview of the week ahead, just to have it all on one page. I'll also put things that I have coming up on certain days. For example, I know on Wednesday I am going into the office, so I'd probably put that in. For my goals, I might put in things that I want to achieve, top things, top priorities. I want to declutter the den. For my content goals, I want to edit this video. Again, my writing is so all over the place, so I always end up resizing and moving things, but I honestly think it's so easy, I don't mind, and then it looks like a lot cleaner, or as clean as I can make it. Yeah, that's basically how I would use this, and then I could just write what week it is, and I can come back and refer to this. And then the last page is my daily planner. This is my favorite because I feel like this just helps me stay on track throughout the day, and I usually like to fill this out the night before so that the next day I can look back. So I like to write a little mantra because I feel like it helps me ground myself in, I don't know, just like a mindset and my intention for the day. I know it sounds really, you know, but it's helpful for me. So I would put something like stay calm and collected, for example, but you get the gist of it. And then within the actual schedule, I can put in things that I plan to do at each hour. I usually wake up and I walk my dog and then have my breakfast. I'd like to try and read. I'm doing it through the zoomed in feature because it just helps me write easier, but you can also just like write it in, of course. And then what I like to do as well is just a little bit of color coding. Nothing crazy, but I might just do like a green for that, and then breakfast, we can make that orange. If I want to do a box, like a big block of highlight, then I'll do the shape, and then I can change that to whatever color I want it to be. And I'd probably just do a box around the time because I'd be working from 9 to 5. And then I just press and hold so that it snaps into the shape, and then it creates that, and then I just go backwards so that it deletes the line. And then top priorities are really like my top 3 things, you know. My top 3 things might be I want to do the rough cut for this video. Another thing might be that I really want to have a leg day, and then to-do list is pretty intuitive, you could just fill that out. But that's basically how I would use that page. So that's basically it, you guys. That is how I create and how I use my digital planner. I just want to say that I know there are probably other ways you can make this, and I also know that there are definitely templates you can buy, but what I really like about getting the chance to make it myself is that I can customize it to exactly what I need. And as you see, I don't really use crazy complex pages because I just want things to be simple, and that's what works for me. There are people that make these and sell them, so of course do check them out and support if you feel like that works best for you. And I've definitely purchased them before, but I'm super excited to use the one that I just made. But I hope you guys did find this helpful, and let me know if you guys end up making your own. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. I would really appreciate it, and to check out other videos from me, and I'll see you guys next time.